Hey everybody, it's Mr. Bullock here, and this lesson is on Pythagorean Theorem Part 2. So let's go ahead and get started. Simplify each radical. So here we go. We have the square root of 75. Remember in the last lesson, we got the prime factorization, the factor tree. So here we go. 75 breaks down to 25 times 3. And if I could, I would circle that 3 right there because 3 is prime. And then this 25 will break down to 5 times 5. So 75 becomes 5 times 5 times 3. And then so there it is, prime factorized. And then two numbers on the inside will bring one number on the outside. So these two 5's brought one number on the outside. So the answer is 5 root 3, and that's how you'd say that, 5 root 3. Some teachers want to say 5 radical 3, whatever. So I like 5 root 3. Okay, how about square root of 300, you guys? Okay, so we're going to do factor trees of 300. You can do 3 times 100 if you want. I chose 30 times 10 because it ends in a 0, so I know it's going to be the next number next to it, the 30 times this 0, which is 10 right there. So 30 times 10. And then 30 breaks down to 5 times 6, and 10 is 2 times 5. And then 6 can break down a little bit more, so there's 300 right there, all those blue numbers. So if I put all those inside the radical, and then two 2's come out, and two 5's come out, and then you go ahead and multiply 5 times 2 or 2 times 5 and you get 10 root 3. Okay? Alright, so recall from the last lesson using the Pythagorean Theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, so let's go ahead and use the Pythagorean Theorem with numbers that we'll get. We have to square root and simplify the radicals this time. The last lesson I gave you perfect whole numbers every time, but this one you won't. Okay, so this one's the hypotenuse, so this is my c right here. So that was going to go right here. The 10 squared is going to go right here. Okay, so it's going to be x squared plus 5 squared equals 10 squared. Okay, now we got to square 5, which is 25, and square 10, which is 100. And then we're going to subtract 25 from both sides, and we get 75. And then I'm going to move it up here and then show you. So x is going to be the square root of 75. Okay, so what number squared is going to be 75? Whatever the square root of 75 is. Okay, and we did that earlier in section A. Here was section A. The square root of 75 we got to be 5 root 3 because it was 5 times 5 times 3. So this is going to be the same. It's going to be 5 root 3 right there. Okay, so this side has length 5 root 3. Okay, let's try another one here. How about this one? So got this right triangle. Here's C this time. 20 is C, so it's going to be y squared plus 10 squared, or 10 squared plus y squared equals 20 squared. 10 squared is 100. 20 squared is 400. Going to subtract 100 from both sides, so we get 300. Okay, is that okay? I didn't show that. I just subtracted 100 here and 100 here. Then we're going to square root 300. Okay, so we did that already, so I'll just jump right to it. There's what we did right there. So here's 300. 2 times 3 times 5 times 2 times 5. So if we put them all in order, the square root of 300 is 2, 2, 3, 5, 5, and then a couple of 2's come out, a couple of 5's come out, and you get 10 root 3 on that one. Okay? All right, and then the distance formula, guys. The distance formula talks about it's the distance between 2 points, and this says x sub 1 comma y sub 1 and x sub 2 comma y sub 2. Okay, the distance between any 2 points is found by this formula right here. It's the square root, and this is where the Pythagorean theorem comes from, you guys. It's going to be, you subtract the x's, so I take this x minus this x, and I square that after I subtract, and then I add. Then we add. You subtract the y's. This y minus this y, and then I square that. And then after I square them, then I'll add them together. And then when you add them together, then we simplify it with our simplified radical like we did before. Okay, so I don't know what you got to do to memorize that. Write it down 5 times. That's what I usually recommend, and that'll usually do it if you write it down 5 times. So square root, and I always do square root parentheses squared plus parentheses squared, and I put minuses in the middle, and the x is going one and the y is going the other. So square root parentheses squared plus the parentheses squared, and then minuses go in the middle, and you put your x's in one and put your y's in the other. Okay, so let's find the length of p, q in each. Okay, so here's p, so this would be my x1 y1, and this would be my x2 y2. Okay, this would be x sub 1 y sub 1, x sub 2 y sub 2. All right, so here's the distance formula right there. Okay, so I'm going to plug in. I'm going to go the square root of this x, which is negative 4, minus this x, which is 2. Negative 4 minus 2, and then it's going to be this, and then plus, and then square it. Don't forget to square it. And then it's going to be 8 minus 5, okay? And then square it, and then you add it together. So there's that right there, okay? All right, x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. Okay, now be careful. Watch the negatives, you guys. Negative 4 minus 2 is negative 6. And then 8 minus 5 is 3. Okay, so that's going to get me to that right there. And then negative 6 squared is positive 36, you guys. And then 3 squared is 9. And then you have to add those together now. You can't square root them. You cannot square root 36 and square root 9. That doesn't work. You have to add them together first. So 36 plus 9 is 45. And then 45 is 9 times 5, and 9 is 3 times 3. So 45 breaks down to 3 times 3 times 5. And then 2 3's on the inside brings 1 3 on the outside. Okay? All right, so let's try it again, you guys. So here's PQ again. So this is x1, y1. This is x2, y2. So here's my formula. Square root, parentheses square plus parentheses squared, minus is in the middle. Oops, I didn't even put that. I should have put that in there. Let me see if I can grab that real quick, you guys. All right, so this is just something you got to know. You got to know you're going to use it again in your next math class, and then again in your next math class, and again and again and again, you guys. So let me put that right here. So right over here. Okay, so it's going to be x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. This is x2, this is x1. So 4 minus 2, that's what goes in here, squared, plus this y is negative 1, this y is 3, negative 1 minus 3. Okay? All right, I want to keep that there. So, all right, so 4 minus 2, you guys, is 2. Negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4. Watch out for the negatives, you guys. And when I square these, this is going to be 4. When I square negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. 4 plus 16, you have to add those together to get 20, you guys. All right, and then the square root of 20 is 4 times 5, and then 4 breaks down to 2 times 2. So it's 2 times 2 times 5, and 2 2's on the inside brings 1 2 on the outside. Okay, so we have simplifying radicals and the Pythagorean theorem, and then the distance formula and all that stuff. All right, you guys, take care.